Tonight, the Socceroos qualifier against Japan. It is on Paramount Plus. Paramount Plus will be broadcasting the match live and exclusive coverage beginning at 8:45 tonight. I think kickoff is scheduled for 9:35. Simon Hill is the oracle. He is the voice, and he's been good enough to join us right now on Breakfast with Vossy and Brandy. Simon, this is very big for the Socceroos tonight. I asked earlier in the show, we had a lot of texts on the topic today, but what's a pass mark for the Socceroos tonight? Have you put something on it? What would be a pass mark for Tony Popovic in game number 2?
Yeah, morning, guys. It's a difficult one, really, because this is undoubtedly the hardest game in the group. To go to Japan, who are, I think by common consent, even though they're not the Asian champions at the moment because they had a poor Asian Cup, they're the best team in the region. They do things very, very well as a sport over there. As has been well documented, they've got a 100-year plan. They've got 60 professional football clubs. They send top players to top leagues right around the world. So this is damn difficult tonight. I would love to think that Australia could go there and win. I think a draw would be a terrific result, to be honest. That would make it 4 points out of 6 under Tony Popovic. It would keep them in the mix for the top 2, which obviously is how you get to North America in 2026. But, they're going to have to lift a level or two from the performance against China, even though they won that game, because Japan are just so good. So we'll see.
We just spoke to our man from Sportsbet, and prices in terms of teams, well, you can take it or leave it, but do you think this is about a fair assessment between the teams? Japan paying $1.32, Socceroos are paying $9.50 for a win. Is that the difference between them, Simon?
Well, not just the difference between them, which can be bridged on any given day, but the historical fact that Australia have never won in Japan. It's been a traditionally very tough place for Australia to go and get a result. They've lost the last 3 times at Saitama Stadium, which is where they're going to play tonight. Last time they got anything there was in 2013 when they got a point, which helped qualify them for the 2014 World Cup. So it's very, very difficult. And this stadium in particular, Japan have got a very good record. They haven't lost there in 8 years, and they've only lost 3 of 41 internationals at this venue. So, look, all the numbers point to a Japan win tonight. And I'm not saying 100% that's what's going to happen. I'm just pointing out the extreme difficulty of what the Socceroos are facing tonight. And, they're capable of going there and getting a good result. But as I say, that they're going to have to take it up a level or 2 from the performance against China, which was okay, and got the 3 points. But Japan are just such a different kettle of fish.
How different is the Socceroos lineup now to what it was in the World Cup when we all thought that was an amazing achievement? What they did, a couple of years ago. It's 2 years on. How different is the lineup, Simon?
Well, it's not too different in terms of personnel. Obviously, we're a couple of years on, so 1 or 2 players have dropped out of the squad. 1 or 2 have got older. The biggest question mark at the moment is, what does Tony Popovic do about the goalkeeping position? Matt Ryan, who's been Socceroos number 1 for goodness knows how long now, 95 caps, but he's not playing for his club. And to be fair, neither was his replacement, Joe Gauchi, against China. But, maybe there's a changing of the guard coming there. He's changed the system. There are 1 or 2 new players that are starting to emerge. Obviously, Nestoria and Kunda, we know a fair bit about. There's always going to be that generational change in a national team. It's unfortunate that they haven't been able to kick on from that performance at the World Cup, which excited so many people. But there's a lot of reasons for that, and we probably need about a 5-hour show for us to go through all of them.
Yeah, right. You might be required to run a therapy session tomorrow. Look, it has to be one of the possible scenarios tonight is that Japan win. A clean sheet, might be 4-0, might be 5. Who knows? Like, they are the best team out of Asia. So for those who don't follow closely, they're going to go into a tailspin. You might be on demand tomorrow, Simon, trying to explain things. Are you ready?
Well, look, that's the job. That's the job. Whatever happens, I hope that's not going to be the case. They are capable of going there and getting a result. But, it's going to be tough. But, let's see. I'm sure Popper's got a plan. Let's hope it works.
Alrighty, well that's that. Now, also elsewhere, the Man City. The last time we had you on, Simon, we got you to explain, and you did a very good job of the 115 charges and all the rest. But there's been external to that another case which has caused all sorts of problems. Are you following it all closely, or do you think people are just marching on and taking it in their stride at the moment? The froth and bubble around Man City.
Well, look, I'm trying to take it all in. To be honest, it's damn difficult. I'm not an accountant or an expert in financial affairs, and I think a lot of people are the same, to be honest. But I mean, it's a very sad state of affairs when the major headlines in the biggest sport in the world, in the biggest league in the world, are all about what happens in court or tribunals. But I'm afraid that's where we're at. And obviously, the future direction of the Premier League is very incumbent upon what happens in these sorts of meetings. Now, City have claimed a partial win in their battle with the Premier League over associated party transactions, which is a fancy way of saying owners putting money in that perhaps they shouldn't be allowed to. I'm not sure whether that would fly in any other facet of business, and that's part of what City have been arguing. So, they believe that they've had a partial win. Whether that has a knock-on effect for the bigger charges, the 115 charges, which are going to be decided in the next couple of months, remains to be seen. But personally, I'd rather be talking about the football.
Yeah, well, just international. It's been international weekend or international week. England bounced back and beat Finland. How were they in England when Greece at Wembley beat England 2-1? I guess all's forgiven now because they've had a win in between. But boy, that was pretty ordinary.
Yeah, well, I don't know whether it has been forgiven, to be honest. I mean, Lee Carsley, who's only in temporary charge, he's only interim, copped an absolute pizzling after that 2-1
I can imagine.
defeat against Greece, which is always going to be the way in England. There are two top jobs in England. One's the Prime Minister, and the next is the manager of the national football team. And they both get equal. I think Tony Blair once said many years ago he thanks Sven-Göran Eriksson for taking some of the heat off him because they'd lost in the World Cup. So, that's how big it is. England need to decide on a full-time coach. It doesn't look as though it's going to be Lee Carsley. They were a bit of a mess against Greece. Better against Finland, but with respect, again, Finland are not the strongest opposition. But they need to solve that question before anything else.
All right, Simon, you know the rules when you come on this program. You are at the mercy of the text line. Phil of Umina says, when you talk to Simon Hill, can you please ask him not to tip the Mariners again? It seems to work well for us, says Phil of Umina. A-League is starting. Lock in a tip. Who wins the championship this year? We're getting you to do the shout right now on the Tuesday of the first week of the competition. Who wins?
Right, yeah, thanks for that curveball. By the way, it was Broski who tipped against the Mariners on the Global Game last week.
Right.
Said that they might finish low down. Who am I going for this season? Goodness me, who am I going to put the curse on? I think from what I've seen, obviously that's very limited because it's Australia Cup, we're still in pre-season. I'll sit my neck out and say Melbourne victory. So there you go. There's the kiss of death for victory.
All right, well done. Simon Hill, always a pleasure to have you on. Enjoy the call tonight. Paramount Plus with the coverage of the Socceroos against Japan. No one knows the sport better than you. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, guys. Have a good week.
Honest assessment. I do fear a 4-0, a 3 or 4-0 tonight. And,
But don't you think in soccer, anything like when you've got two teams separated, and that's why the FA Cup and those, the Australian Cup, are such good competitions because the sides outside the top leagues do have a chance. There's always a chance. You can struggle for possession, shots on goal. You only need one to go in. Australia, they could get lucky.
I'm a little pessimistic about tonight. I got a bad feeling about this.
I have a bad feeling about this.
Just confirming that. I have a bad feeling about this tonight.